Welcome, my friends. Let's begin with comfortable standing posture. Of course, if you are just joining us for the first time, this is day 5 in a 100-day series. So you might want to watch them in order because we do run them as a progressive series. But I will give the basics of each to begin. First, what I like to do is to remind people that the emphasis of this class and the class that starts in 1 hour is the emphasis of releasing the neck and shoulders. And I've been trying to encourage people to try using a liniment, either a liniment or an oil. Oops, can't quite see it in lighting here, but something that is an herbal mixture, a cream perhaps, that helps to invigorate circulation, helps the softening of the musculature. Put it in your neck and shoulders, or really any spot that tends to clench and have difficulty letting go. And this will help to speed this process. Very traditionally, if you were to study these methods with a master, they may be giving you various kinds of herbs to strengthen or enhance this or that quality during your practice, or to help speed this learning period of your training. And one of the ways to do that are to use these various methods of medicine to help release these aspects of our body that we're emphasizing at any time. So the liniment I recommend to people every day. And also something like this. It's very loud, so I'm not going to turn it on. There are various kinds of vibrating things. Sometimes they shake side to side, or they vibrate very small, or they move in and out more quickly. This is one that tends to bump in and out, so it penetrates a little bit more deeply into the body. But you can use this to massage various aspects of your body that feel tight. You don't want to use it everywhere. You wouldn't want to use it on your face. There are places that have less tissue that you don't want to necessarily use something as aggressive as this, even turned all the way down. But this can be a wonderful way to release tension in the shoulders. I wouldn't necessarily use it on the back of the neck. Something like this might be a little bit too aggressive for something so delicate. You don't want to shake and rattle your brain around. But they have smaller vibrators, much smaller, that have a much more delicate and gentle way of vibrating and releasing certain tissues. Then you can use that on places like the neck, the IT band, that don't want heavy stimulation, but something that's lighter and more gentle just because there's not a lot of tissue in these areas. A very useful tool. We call it a thumper. You want to do what you can to speed this process of softening and opening your neck and shoulders. Otherwise, it ends up being an inhibition to your practice. Settling into a comfortable standing posture, feet small shoulder width apart. Make sure that your hips don't sway forward. Keep the center of your hip under the center of your shoulder, as though you're just about to sit down into a tall chair behind you. Even if it's only a centimeter or two, enough to unlock the hips, enough to unlock the knees and your ankles. Make sure your feet are relatively symmetrical, even if they're more open than mine. Do make certain that your knees stay over your toes as you stand, so that your knees aren't twisting in any particular direction. As you soften, you want to soften the front of the shoulder so that you're not slouching forward. You also want to make certain that you're not drawing your shoulder blades back in a military style posture. Let your arms release to the sides so that as your hands are softened on the sides of your body, the tips of your middle fingers are likely to touch this side seam of your pants. If you're wearing pants. So within all of this, we want to make sure that our body releases, our soft tissues relax over the body as though they were made of cloth, draping over your body. If they start to feel like they're gripping and they're tight and they're pulled in and they're sucking toward the center of your body, then you want to release them outward. As you exhale, there's this quality of softening through the whole body. And then as you inhale, this deepening into stillness. As usual, the very first thing that we do is we stop doing whatever we were doing before. So depending on the time of day that you watch this, for me, it's very early in the morning. So I've been up for a little while practicing, preparing for the day. And it's easy at this time of day to have a sense of momentum as I'm aiming toward things later in the day. And I'm having a meeting with a well-known doctor later today, discussion with him and his students. And so it's easy to think as though my day is pushing in that direction. So what I want to do is let go of the idea of this future arrangement, something happening in the future that's taking me away from now. And I allow that sense of pushing to drop and to settle, because it is unsettling to have that happening. Similarly, if it's perhaps the end of the day, maybe there's a feeling of momentum happening from your day, all the stuff that happened to you. Oh, that person cut me off in traffic. Oh, I did this wrong. I shouldn't have said this. Whatever it is that's trapped inside you, the tension of holding your shopping bags earlier in the day or something, like maybe your purse, backpack. And now you're standing there. There's no backpack. There's no purse. There's no reason to be hanging onto your shoulders, but you didn't quite manage to let it go yet. And so in the same way, we want to make sure that everything that we have been hanging on to throughout the day is also dropped away. So we let go of our future, and we also let go of the past. We restore ourselves to factory settings in the present moment. Softening your neck, emptying your neck of tension, your throat, sides of your neck, the back of your neck. Allowing your head to be light rather than gripped and pulled down. A sense of release upward. Your shoulders soften, letting go. As I mentioned, we release the tops of the shoulders, so the elbows hang. We soften the front of the shoulder, so that the shoulder is not drawn forward. We soften the rear of the shoulder so it's not pulled back toward the spine or gripped from behind as though it's twisting outward. We also release the space beneath the arm. This is the base of the shoulder, the attachments to the ribs and the spine down low. All of this is soft. And this allows your elbows to hang as though they're growing heavy. Your forearms, your wrists, your hands all soften. Let go of your chest. Any tendency to puff your chest up, hold it up, allow that to fall into a neutral position. Your tendency that perhaps to sink your chest, to hide, you also allow that tension to release so your chest again falls open into this neutral position, which also of course restores the shape of your upper back, makes it even easier for your neck to release and your head to fall upward. Softening your belly. Relaxing your lower back. As you soften your glutes and your lower back, it's as though your tailbone sinks under, settling toward the ground. But do not tuck your hips. Instead, release everything that's keeping the tailbone tight, pulling this anterior pelvic tilt. As we soften the lower back, this area naturally falls open, and that's the correct shape for the body. If you tighten in the front, you've just created a new problem that you'll have to deal with later. As you continue to soften your hips, release the front of the hip, the inside of the hip, outside your glutes, the rear of your legs. As their hips unlock, that shape unlocks your knees, that shape unlocks your ankles, helps to soften your feet and your toes. And if you've been practicing standing for a while, you may notice a sense of what they call rounding of the crotch. This open space through here softens open, and there's a sense of wrapping and comfort down the legs, but that's something that happens only once your hips have relaxed. Releasing all the way through. And if you have questions about any of these methods, please do feel free to put the question into the comment box. Crown of the head floating upward. Tailbone sinking downward, lengthening your spine. All of your joints opening and expanding. Soft tissues of your body draping comfortably. And as all of that space in your body opens, there's room for the breath and things to expand. Again, making it easier for the body to fall upward as you let everything fall down. That which wants to sink is allowed to sink, and that which is allowed to expand releases upward and outward. Making space for the breath. Do not control the breath, pushing it in or out. Don't try to force it to be deep or to be fast or slow. Simply let go of anything restricting the breath. By watching the breath, you'll be able to find how your body is doing. You want to create the conditions within which the breath moves easily and comfortably. But we do not control the breath. That's just adding more problems. Don't make it more difficult for yourself later. Too many of us do that, and then we have to deal with bad habits later. Those are worse than letting go in the beginning. Another 10 minutes of standing. Always feeling free to take a break if you need to move around a bit. Shake out your legs or sit down. Don't stand so long that you reinforce patterns of tension and holding. There's a point when it becomes too long. If you just take a break and come back a minute later, things will be softer and more open. And you'll actually practice letting go instead of holding on. You're ready. Closing movement. Opening your body. Letting your elbows spread outward away from your spine. And then sink down. Soften your shoulders, your chest and upper back, your waist, your belly. Your hands resting on top of your navel. Your awareness sinking beneath your palms into that space between the navel and the spine, the middle danxian. Gentle circles around the navel. Awareness sinking beneath the palms, beneath the surface, softening your belly. Both directions. Grab a chair if you're going to sit in a chair. Resting comfortably. Remember to settle your weight in front of these ischial tuberosity bones beneath here, the sitting bones, so that you're resting on the backs of your legs rather than slouching onto your tailbone. Your lower back is open, not arched, settled and flat, or as comfortable in that direction as you like to be. Crown of your head floating up. Remember, it's important that we recognize that everyone's body is a bit different and everyone's needs in their sitting and standing are a little bit different. So please do adjust. Follow the principles. We're softening, we're opening our body. And your body might be unusual, and it's certainly unique and needs to adjust appropriate to the present moment and your own needs in order to accomplish these actual tasks of letting go and becoming quiet. Hands resting gently. This is called Ping Suo, this pink soul is to sit balanced, comfortable, even. With each exhalation, perhaps through your mouth, releasing any patterns of holding or tension. Including in the mind and the emotional base. And then as you inhale, perhaps through the nose, the body-mind becomes still and quiet, clear. at some point releasing the breath practice and moving into the main practice of simply softening into the present moment, just being here. At this stage, we're still practicing the basics, like posture. The more you soften, if you are in correct posture and you're softening without slumping, then as the soft tissue releases and your body opens, the more you soften downward, the more you are suspended upward. The same is true in standing posture, but it's even easier to find here because your legs get to relax. Physically softening more and more, releasing, getting out of the way of the breath, and allowing that softness to support your posture rather than to collapse it. It's a different kind of softening. The same is true with the mind. If you soften your mind correctly, the more you release distractions by relaxing your mind, you're relaxing your awareness into the present moment. So if you soften your mind appropriately, rather than becoming disassociated and daydreaming or falling asleep, you relax your mind in such a way that your awareness settles into the present moment, becoming more stable, just like your posture, just like your breath, just like your emotional structure. It's a particular kind of releasing that we're practicing. And we find it through letting go, not trying to do anything in particular, just listening and being still. Just another 10 minutes. Continuing to soften your whole body. When your mind wanders away, soften the agitation that led to the distraction. Just observe the distraction. Don't push it away. Don't force yourself to stay in the present moment. Relax the distraction. Let your mind stabilize itself in the present moment through letting go, not through holding on. It takes a bit of practice, but you can do it. Softening all over your head, the back of your neck especially, of course, for this class. Tops of your shoulders a bit. Squeezing and releasing down your arms. For longer meditation sessions, you would want to have a more extensive restoration of circulation series. But this little half-hour set is no problem to do a quickie practice. You can move over the top of your head, down your chest, lower back, and then soften down your legs, up the inside, out and down, the outside and back, in and out. Up the outside, down the inside of the arms. Closing. One last time, settling your awareness into that middle elixir field space between the navel and the spine, or at least within the navel, if that's as far as you can go. Feeling the warmth of your hands soaking into your belly button. That's okay. Thank you for joining me. If there's any questions, of course, feel free to put them down into the comment box there. Such a nice practice. I look forward to this hour every day. Of course, I do my own separate practice, but this is still really nice. And I will be back here on a separate link in 15 minutes to do the 90-minute long neck and shoulder releasing series, Qigong series. So please do feel free to join me for that. Again, separate links, so don't feel confused. I'll close this one in a moment, and it will be lovely to have you here. Thank you very much. Enjoy your practice.